a new generation of boat have to foil for sure.
It's fantastic. It's a lovely boat to sail. It's a great design.
Just amazing. With 10 knots, you have 20 knots of speed.
Very, very fast compared to any other catamaran.
Welcome to the final episode of this year's Bullitt GC32 Racing Tour, the action-packed programme that features all the latest news from this brand new series. We get up close to these state-of-the-art foiling machines in their epic journey around Europe. These flying cats have embraced the newest technology in sailing to literally fly above sea level. Foiling is very much the modern trend in sailing, with professionals looking for that extra edge and speed. The GC32s have impressed the sailing world and have made an instant impact in the debut season of the Bullitt Racing Tour. The boats are not just restricted to professionals. Conceived as a 32-foot one-design racing catamaran, they were created to be not just one of the fastest boats for their size, but also one of the safest, allowing a wider group of sailors to enjoy them.
Of course, we were looking for a very, very fast boat, but not necessarily the fastest possible for this size. We wanted some safety, so the design brief was very clearly that the boat can be sailed in rough conditions on the sea, so with waves up to, let's say, 2 meters, something like that, and therefore the hulls have lots of buoyancy. So the idea is if you produce a crash landing, then there's enough buoyancy in the hulls to survive that without a capsize.
The new version of the GC32 was released in 2014 and it immediately drew positive comments from the elite of the sport. The L-shaped dagger boards and the T-shaped rudders allow the boat to pop straight up out of the water in just 7 knots of wind.
The first time when we started this project, the purpose is not only to make a boat, is to create a new sailing experience. That was the top things with a certain vision. Having heard of the America's Cup already back in the days and the hole in the market, so it was a very well founded vision to do this boat. Now, if I see, 3 years later, we have the best team coming on the boat, sailing it and enjoying it. Obviously, our purpose is to have a lot of fun, and so now we have pros and we have owners on the circuit, and we try to find a good mix to make it work, and I think in the coming years there will be more things going on about this.
The boats were designed to be accessible to all sailors, so they're easy to handle whilst foiling. However, to become competitive in racing them, it requires great skill and practice.
If you sail a mini multi-hull or dinghies before, with like two people on board, it's easier to jump on a GC32, because you need to respond and think quickly to the next move, what you want to do, and everything happens really quickly, so you need to be ahead of the other guys all the time.
The sailors in this year's Bullitt GC32 Racing Tour have come from an impressive range of backgrounds. The crew lists include Olympic medalists, America's Cup winners, and many world champions. Each sailor brings their own unique skills to the team, but even the best sailors in the world have had a steep learning curve to contend with to get the best out of these flying machines.
I think if it's windy enough, the boats will easily do 40 knots. We had a few moments yesterday of high 30s and we were still just learning the boat and trying to get the balance, but for such a small boat, 32 foot long, they go incredibly fast, and that's what happens when you start foiling. The boats just go so quick, so we're hoping to try and beat the 40 knot record today. Hopefully it gets windy enough for that.
British Olympian Lee McMillan and his team have had many years' experience in the Extreme Sailing Series. They're 3 times champions. Could they transfer those skills to the GC32s and win another trophy for Oman Sail?
You know, it's going to be pretty full on this year because each event are very closely knit together. The GC is always just behind the Extreme Sailing Series, and it's been quite a rush to get here and get ready. And you can see everyone's working on the boat now, and it's race morning, and we're trying to get everything ready. So there's a lot of pressure on us on that front, but once we're out there racing, we're going to really enjoy it.
The crew on board Sultanate of Oman are not the only ones that are splitting their time between 2 campaigns. With so many similarities between the GC32s and the America's Cup 45-foot cats, a number of sailors are involved with both.
The GC32 is a fantastic boat. It's obviously a slight step down from the AC45, mainly just because of the wing. But they are great practice for the AC45, and the more time we can get in these boats, the better for the America's Cup team.
Arnaud Sarafagis sails with Alinghi and the French America's Cup entry Groupama. Emirates Team New Zealand skipper Glenn Ashby is with Sultanate of Oman GC32 alongside another America's Cup sailor, Paul Campbell-James, who's the wing trimmer on Team BAR.
There's no doubt that Paul has stepped in and done an incredible job. He knows the boats very well. He knows these type of boats very well. He's given me a lot of really great tips going forward, kind of on the steering that he's kind of taken out of the cup environment. For sure, he's got very good kind of input into just the foil, how the foils work against each other, and getting them working to kind of get you up on the foils and the angles that you're sailing, all that kind of stuff. He's got a lot of experience, and feeding that back into the team.
While the America's Cup allows teams to customise and develop their boats, the GC32s are strictly one design. The boats are all identical, and with the venues throwing up some very different conditions, teamwork and tactics make the difference between winning and losing. The teams competing on the inaugural Bullitt Racing Tour were a familiar list. Team Alinghi, created by Ernesto Bertarelli, made history by winning the America's Cup at their very first attempt. That was back in 2003, and since losing the Cup in 2010, the Swiss team's focus has switched to other sailing campaigns. They've twice been crowned Extreme Sailing Series champions and are now looking to add the Bullitt GC32 Racing Tour to their CV. In the lineup was also Team Engie from France, skippered by the hugely experienced transatlantic sailor Seb Rogues. Armin Strom with 4-time Olympic star sailor Flavio Marazzi on the helm, and also from America, Team Argo 32 with the Melges 32 world champion Jason Carroll as skipper. So the teams assembled, and 5 unique stops across Europe lay ahead in the battle to decide who the inaugural Bullitt GC32 Racing Tour champion would be. The journey started in Austria, where the teams gathered in the pretty town of Gmunden on Lake Traunsee for the first stop of the year.
New teams came in this year with Alinghi, Spindrift or Oman Air. They believe in that concept. They believe that the one design status of that class will be strong, and it will not be the boat that makes a difference, but the teams.
The GC32s race over a similar course to the America's Cup. The start is vital, and the crews will time their run to the line so that they're at maximum speed at the gun. There's then a short reach to the first gate before the long downwind leg to the leeward gate. There's a choice of marks to round here before the longest and most tactical leg of the race, upwind back to the windward gate. It's then back to repeat the downwind upwind legs once again before a reach sprint to the finish back where they started.
Reaching starts is a new form of racing that was introduced by the America's Cup in San Francisco, and it's very different to the traditional upwind start. It puts a lot of priority on your time distance, the need to hit the line at full speed and as close as possible, because it's very, very hard to pass someone on a reach, as any sailor will know. So it's a very different skill. It puts obviously less priority on upwind speed, more on starting and manoeuvres. But I think generally the move was done for the spectators. It's exciting to watch, and the spectators see right at the beginning the boats at their very fastest.
And who dares to dispute the flying skills of Steph Bridge, a 5-time world champion and a living inspiration for all sailors. Steph is also Bullitt's ambassador. Steph Bridge and her son Guy went up against the GC32s in an exhibition race, and it made some spectacle as the boats and boards popped up onto their foils to show their full potential. Another highlight of the season was the historic Round the Island race in the UK, with the GC32 fleet taking part. Team NG were the first to round the Needles, the famous white rocks on the west tip of the Isle of Wight, followed by Alinghi. The rough seas in the south side of the island really tested the teams and put any record attempts out of the window. Sultanate of Oman managed to overhaul the leaders, and they crossed the line 1 minute ahead of Alinghi in 3 hours and 50 minutes. Team NG took third place with Team Argo 32 in fourth. Less than 6 minutes separated the 4 boats. The GC32s are effectively scaled-down America's Cup yachts. However, with their size and ability to foil in a wider range of conditions, not just elite-level sailors can enjoy them. At each Bullitt Tour event, guests are invited on board to experience the very latest technology in yacht racing, a fully foiling GC32.
And now you're in the middle of a Formula One, basically, so it's very, very exciting. I mean, it's a feeling you know, even for sailors who haven't been on this boat, will never expect. This sensation of quick decision you have to make and quick maneuver and everything. So it's very exciting. It's a lot of adrenaline setting, like nothing before.
The lucky invitees are briefed at the start of the day before meeting the crews and heading out onto the water. It's an exciting chance for non-sailors to see what it's like to race on a state-of-the-art catamaran that foil and can sail at nearly 40 knots.
For the hospitality management, we have to take care to all our guests. So first we go in the morning when they arrive at around 9:30 to see the boat. We do a tour to explain them in the area, the technical area, what are the boat, what they can do, the place where they have to be. And after we come back to our nice place, guest lounge, to explain with video what they will have on the sea, because it's a very speedboat, and we really have to take care of each guest. So we have security explanation, and we also we are presenting the teams.
Whether they've sailed in the past or not, that moment when the GC32 lifts up onto its foils is an unforgettable moment.
I really enjoy it. The weather is, you don't need sunshine because you're always going wet, so everything is perfect. It's like flying, and I'm so happy, really.
It was really fun and a privilege to be on board. Not comparable to anything I was ever on.
An unforgettable moment of a different type came in Kiel, this time for the professional sailors on board Alingi. A 30-knot gust of wind put the team in difficulties with some worrying moments on board.
Yeah, you know, I think at the time of the capsize we thought we're going to break the mast on the rocks. Possibly the boat's going to hit the rocks, the shore. And it was just a fantastic job by everybody involved in the event. Anytime you're in a stadium sort of event without a sea breeze, you're going to be gusty, and it's tough to read. The gusts were particularly tough to read.
But the capsize didn't dampen Alingi's team spirit at all. They showcased an exceptional performance in Kiel. They were in the driving seat for the whole regatta and took the inaugural Kiel Cup by a massive 14 points. Such has been the calibre of racing and crew members. Almost every leg of the season has brought with it a new winner. It wasn't until the fourth event of the season on the Italian coast in Civitavecchia that we saw a repeat winner. Sultanate of Oman sailed consistently all week to win the inaugural Trofeo di Roma. Their second win of the season after taking the opening event in Austria.
We knew it was going to be a hard day, you know. It was very close on the overalls, us and Spindrift and Alingi, and we were just very conscious about just trying to minimise the amount of points we lost to them.
The win in Italy saw them move 3 points clear on the overall series leaderboard. A narrow margin, but something to celebrate, with just one more event to come in the 2015 calendar. That final event would come in Marseille in France, where they'd be hoping to defend that 3-point advantage. No doubt the other teams would be doing all they can to try to knock them off top spot. So the teams gathered in the south of France for the Bullitt GC32 season's finale. After 4 events throughout Europe, the fight for victory in this new tour has come right down to the last leg, with Sultanate of Oman holding just a narrow lead over Alingi. On the opening day's racing, Sultanate of Oman may have been the quickest out of the blocks, but it was Alingi who was the first to cross the finish line. Morgan Larsen steering the Swiss boat to victory in 4 of the day's 6 races. Sultanate of Oman may have held the points advantage heading into this final event, but would a last-minute crew change threaten their overall dominance? With Lee McMillan and his crew unavailable for Marseille, the boat was helmed by Australia's 49er Olympic champion Nathan Outteridge.
It's obviously a lot of pressure on myself and the boys on board to do well here. You know, Lee's done a great job with the team all year long and is leading the event. You know, we were very lucky to get a call from Lee saying, can you fill in for us, because he had other commitments, and we're excited to be here. We've only done 2 days of training, one in very light winds, one in quite a bit of breeze yesterday, and so far things are going well.
Outteridge and his crew may be new to the GC32 racing tour, but they're sailors with plenty of experience. On board is not only world and Olympic gold medalist Outteridge and Ian Jensen, but also Britain's 2-time Olympic champion Ian Percy. Both have been sailing together as part of the Artemis America's Cup team.
Oman was really impressive today because it's a new team, but it's a team from America's Cup, so he knows this type of boat. They sailed this type of boats 5 years ago, so they are really impressive. So for us, it's really interesting to have this team in the circuit because we will learn a lot.
While Alinghi were the clear winners of the racing on day one, in the speed challenge they were just eclipsed by the other Swiss team, Armin Strom. Marazzi and his crew covered the 600-metre course in a time of 58 seconds at an average speed of 26.81 knots. They beat Alinghi by just 1 second to win the Bullitt Speed Prize. Light winds on day two saw very little foiling for the fleet of GC32s. That didn't stop Alinghi though. They kept up their winning habit with 2 Bullits. However, the top performing boat on the day belonged to Spindrift Racing, who won 2 races, but importantly didn't finish out of the top 3 in all 5 races. They ended the day leapfrogging Sultanate of Oman into second place behind Alinghi.
It was completely different than yesterday. Less wind, but yeah, it's a good day for us. Really good start. Only one start and we're leading since the beginning of the race, so it was a good race for us. And the maneuver as well was really good, and the tactic as well, so it's a nice day for us.
So the results after day 3 stood. Thanks to some strong performances earlier in the week, Alinghi won the regatta, while Sultanate of Oman's 3rd place was sufficient to make them the champions of the season, winning the inaugural Bullitt GC32 Racing Tour title.
We're very fortunate that Lee had a nice little lead on the overall series, so we could step in and do the job, which was great. Oman Sail's been great to us all week long, making our life as easy as possible, so we've really enjoyed the experience. We weren't necessarily happy with how we sailed ourselves, finishing 3rd's pretty disappointing, but we would have loved to have raced today.
So it's been a hugely successful opening year with many a memorable moment. The boats have wowed spectators across Europe with some spectacular, fully foiling racing. Professionals, amateurs and newcomers have all had the chance to experience the power of these magnificent speed machines. The Extreme Sailing Series are adopting these catamarans next season, but the Bullitt GC32 Racing Tour will very much still continue. Organisers have big plans to grow the series in future years. 2015 has been a hugely successful year with tight competitive racing. The tour has certainly impressed not just potential owners, but the sailing world in general.
Well, for 2016 we're looking forward to a really nice tour, mostly in Europe. We selected a nice choice of sailing venues where the venue itself, the sailing conditions, is the most important, and it gives us a really good quality for sailing and for our teams to participate.
We started with 5 teams this year, 2015, and which I regularly participated. We had other teams that came in for 1-2 times, and looking forward to have the same teams for the next 3 years, plus new teams that want to sail with the existing teams now, like Alinghi and Spindrift, Armstrong. It's going to be a nice, attractive series.